Hey folks, this is Thomas from Switzerland again.
Maybe you remember me from April last year. I showed you my 2002 Toyota Land Cruiser Prado. A while ago, I stumbled over a homeless Toyota Land Cruiser HG61 from the 60 series. For a long time, I was looking exactly for this model. But here, these are really hard to find in a good condition. I never found a solid one. Until now, I checked the car out, drove it and bought it. Let me tell you, it wasn't cheap. Oh boy, it wasn't cheap at all. It set me back 40,000 Swiss francs. Hurts every time I say it. That's about 44,000 US dollars. Yes, it's a lot of money, but the cruiser is in a really good condition. And of course, that's the market here for these cars. Take it or leave it. I don't complain. Another thing, of course the bigger thing, was how do you convince your wife that you can spend this much money on a 34-year-old car? Or how do you explain why it is useful to buy such an old vehicle for that amount of money in the first place? Well, the answer, or truth, is a little bit complicated. The way I see it, you got two options. Option A, you can show her the car, take her with you for a test drive, and bring your best arguments, and so on. Or you can take option B. Roll the dice, go ahead, just buy it and hope for the best. Or maybe I should better say, hope for a true love reaction? Yeah, I did a mixture of those two. More in the direction kind of roll the dice. Hold your hats, folks. It actually worked. I mean, sure, at first she panicked a little bit, short breath and that kind of things. But she knows me for a long time now, and she knows I'm absolutely crazy about Land Cruisers, especially old ones. So, if you guys are in the same situation, go ahead, because the wives or girlfriends are awesome, man! But for the sake of argument, go with option A. I think it's better in the long term.
So, honey, thanks a lot. I love you very much. Thanks for putting up with me.
Let's get into it. It is a 1987 Toyota Land Cruiser HG61 with about 236,000 miles on it. Now the heart of this car is of course the legendary 12HT engine. 12HT. The 1 stands for direct injection, the 2 for second generation engine, the H is the description for the engine family, and the T means turbocharged. In my opinion, an absolute legend and my favorite Land Cruiser engine. I also really love the design of this tried and true Land Cruiser. Let's pop the hood. It is a straight 6 4-liter diesel engine. It has the crazy amount of 136 horsepower and 232 pound-foot of torque, or 315 Newton meters. It has solid axles front and rear and leaf springs. The suspensions are from Oldman Emu. The cruiser runs on BF Goodrich KO2 tires. I had BF Goodrich tires on a Toyota Hilux I owned in the past. I was happy with these tires, so that was a no-brainer for me. I also have a Safari snorkel. Fuel consumption. I got about 20 miles per gallon. What was done on the car? Some rust issues were dealt with, some electrical stuff and some other things. As I said, it's in perfect condition. New inspection passed and everything. Although rust is never a done issue with Land Cruisers, especially with these older ones. I have to keep looking out for that. Unfortunately, we do have our fair share of salt where we live. There's the trunk with a split tailgate. There's plenty of room in here for carrying camping gear, useful tools, you name it. I also have a hitch. The tow capacity is about 7,700 pounds. Now let's get into the car. Welcome back to 1987. Already powered windows. It's working perfectly fine. And that's a funny item on the car. Underneath the front seat you can adjust the weight of the driver with this little crank. You can do the same on the passenger side. Allegedly it has an impact on the comfort during the ride, but it doesn't help much with two solid axles. There's a dashboard. Of course, not digital. You got temperature, fuel gauge, battery volt, oil pressure, RPM, speedometer. Funny note on the RPM, if the turbo engages, a green light shows and tells you, hey, the turbo is at work now. Here you can adjust the ventilation, heating. No AC in this car. I mean, you have to roll down the windows, if you count this as AC. Also, you have a couple of switches. These are for the rear windshield wiper, window heating and fog lights. Of course, you have a cigarette lighter and an ashtray. Hey, it's an 80s ride. That was cool then. There's a heating system for the rear also. But if you are sitting in the rear in the winter time, leave your jacket on. Trust me. It's a manual 5-gear drive. If I want to drive in 4-wheel mode, I have to engage the front axle from outside with locking the hubs. Old school. There's the 4 low. You have to engage it manually, of course, with this stick. No switch for that in here. Not much electronics or fancy gadgets in here. I like that. That's the glove box. It even has a hiking map from the 80s in it. If you don't want to get seriously lost, don't count on it. The center console. Not too much room, but I mean, it's alright for the essentials, sunglasses and stuff like that. The back seats are typical for that period of time. Maybe not the best place for long road trips, but hey, at least you stay awake. But you can fold the rear seats or sitting row down. That gives you even more room. Of course, you have an ashtray also in the rear on both sides. What are the modification plans? The front seats are not that comfy, in my opinion. I eventually changed the seats. But another thing is the stereo sound system. That's gonna be updated for sure. I did this with all my cars in the past also, because I really love good sound quality while I'm driving. Looking forward to listen 80s hair metal in an 80s cruiser in perfect sound quality, with a subwoofer and all that fun stuff.
So, I guess that's about it. Yes, I really do love my ride. This engine is so aggressive, so much fun to drive. Stay safe, stay healthy, and as my father always likes to say, nothing in life has to be done that much in a hurry. There's always time for a good cup of coffee. Take care. Bye all.